This video is brought to you by Patreon show sponsor CT Sounds. You can see everything they have to offer at ctsounds.com. It's your boy HifiVega back again, and this time we have a rumble in the jungle, a thriller in Manila. We have a showdown for the ages. We got the Sundown SA 6.5 versus the Savard Hi-Q 6.5. It's going down. Let's just jump straight into it, but before we do, let me mention that they are both dual 2-ohm subwoofers, and it's something that I didn't say in the video, so let's get straight to it. Now, the setup I have going right now is the Big Red amp, the Sony Big Red. It's a 7.5 it's a 5-channel. We'll get a little over 300 watts to each sub. We're going to test the sub separately. We're going to do 2 or 3 tracks, see what they sound like. I'm not going to use my SPL meter because at 300 watts with 6.5s, you're barely reaching that 120 dB threshold, so it's just not worth it. We'll see what it sounds like, though. Right now, I have the Sundown 6.5 hooked up. We'll go to that first, and then we'll jump into the Hi-Q. The last time you heard the Hi-Q, it was on 600 watts, so we're definitely going to be more tame this time, but they'll both be on equal playing field. They'll both have the same power, same gain, same everything, so we'll be able to truly tell the difference. And my mic setup, I've got the Samsung Q2U over here that I will be hooking up through a lightning cable adapter. That way, hopefully, we get some better audio. If not, then we'll go back to regular iPhone audio. So we're going to try that out. And yeah, I think that's about it. So let's just jump straight into it and see what they do. One thing I did want to point out is this is in the passenger seat in my vehicle. A lot of times when you're demoing a vehicle, you definitely want to be in the driver's seat. My vehicle in particular, it's not really set up for driver's seat listening only. It's kind of a 2-seat setup, so that's really not going to make a difference. The imaging and all that's going to be about the same in either one of my seats. So that's why it's like that. So yeah, let's get into that testing. We're going to start with track number 1 on the Sundown 6.5. Let's see what it's got. Track number 2 with the Sundown 6.5-inch subwoofer. This one has more regular vocals, so we'll get straight into it and see what it sounds like.
She just wants to flirt, so I flirt right back. I just put in work, yeah, I work like that. Got me falling and it hurts, yeah, it hurts so bad. Falling and it's worth everything I have. I can feel the butterflies multiply every time I meet your eyes. Amplify deep inside, once I feel your skin on mine. Though I try, I can't hide all the ways I feel inside.
Okay, we're on to track number 3. We're still on the Sundown 6.5. Let's see what we got here.
She says that she loves me, she just wants to fuck me. Got me feeling something, got me feeling nothing. Alcoholic junkie, says she thinks I'm funny. Think I might get lucky, spending too much money. She says she wants my necklace, put her on the guest list.
Alright, we've got one more track to try out on the Sundown 6.5, so let's get into it. I hope this new mic setup here is working out. I hope I'm getting a nice sound recording. Let's see what we got.
And I recall the past real vaguely. I remember everything they'd say. Maybe thought that I was crazy.
Okay, we've done our testing with the Sundown. It is time to hook up this Savard Hi-Q. I'm going to put it in the same position just so you guys know everything's fair. Sorry for the shaky video. I'm trying to do this in one cut here. Now, let's hook this up. If you guys don't mess with these banana plugs, you're crazy, man. These things are awesome. So, the Savard is 6.5. Let's go on to it. Let's see how much better it is. While we're over here, you may be able to see the box differences in size. It's not a whole lot. The Savard takes a 1/2 cubic foot, and it needs 8 square inches of port. So it's a 1-inch port, 8 inches high. The Sundown, on the other hand, calls for 0.3 cubic foot, which is it's almost half the size of this one internally, and it calls for 4 inches square port. So what we have here is a 1/2 inch by 8 inches tall, and then they are both tuned to 35 hertz. So this is actually a pretty fair comparison. They both have the boxes they call for. So whatever the differences may be, it's in the driver itself or the boxes they recommend. Okay, we're on to the Savard 6.5 Hi-Q. We have the same microphone setup. The amp set up exactly the same way. It's in the exact same position. Let's see if it's louder, how it sounds better, if it sounds worse, if it sounds pretty much the same. Let's see what the differences are. And yeah, well, we'll start with track 1 and go through the tracks just like we did on the Sundown 6.5. Track number 2 on the Savard Hi-Q 6.5.
She just wants to flirt, so I flirt right back. I just put in work, yeah, I work like that. Got me falling and it hurts, yeah, it hurts so bad. Falling and it's worth everything I have. I can feel the butterflies multiply every time I meet you.
Okay, we're gonna go to track number 3, the Savard Hi-Q 6.5.
She says that she loves me, she just wants to fuck me. Got me feeling something, got me feeling nothing. Alcoholic junkie, says she thinks I'm funny. Think I might get lucky, spending too much money. She says she wants my necklace, put her on the guest list. Hope I don't regret this, hope I don't regret.
We're gonna go to track number 4. It is again the Hi-Q 6.5.
And I recall the past real vaguely. I remember everything they'd say. Maybe thought that I was crazy, thinking that one day they'd see my name. Love being a loner, always moving closer. Knew exactly what I wanted to have. Fear of growing older, chip all on my shoulder. And I recall the past real vaguely. I remember everything they'd say. Maybe thought that I was crazy. And I recall the past real vaguely. I remember everything they'd say. Maybe thought that I was crazy. She just wants to flirt, so I flirt right back. I just put in work, yeah, I work like that. Got me falling and it hurts, yeah, it hurts so bad. Falling and it's worth everything I have. She just wants to flirt, so I flirt right back. I just put in work, yeah, I work like that. Got me falling and it hurts, yeah, it hurts so bad.
So, the legendary Sundown SA series versus the Savard, the up-and-comer, the Hi-Q, Both of these 6.5 drivers were very impressive, and you really won't go wrong by buying either of these. If you're going to stack these up in multiples, you can do some serious damage. Heck, our buddy Ronnie Smith can do damage with just one of these. But how did the shootout in particular, how did it end up? How did they stack up? Now, take this with a grain of salt, because this is just my opinion, and it's what I'm going by in car, in my ear. You can kind of tell through the recordings if you listen close enough, but it's not a perfect representation of what you hear when you're in car. And to me, it's the Hi-Q all the way. Three main reasons I think that the Hi-Q wins this shootout. The first reason, value. I believe the current retail on the Hi-Q is $69.99, and the Sundown is $99.99. What I've seen them listed for, anyways. The second thing is that the Hi-Q is just louder. It plays with the same amount of power. It plays louder to me. It sounds louder. And the third, and on top of the loud, I think it digs a little deeper than the Sundown. The third thing is, I think it's very close, but I think it sounds just a little bit better than the Sundown in the enclosures. That may be a very big part of this shootout. The enclosures. Now let's talk about them for a second. I mentioned before in this video that the Hi-Q requires a 8-inch of area for the port. So that gives me a 1-inch port by an 8-inch port, and half a cube for the actual driver portion. So the tuning on that's 35 hertz as well. Now with the Sundown, we need 0.3 cubic foot with a 4-inch square port area. So that gives me a half-inch port by 8 inches tall. The tuning again is 35 hertz. So they're equally matched up as far as tuning. But I think the boxes could have played a difference, and I'm not sure. These are both built to spec what they say, so this isn't me putting it inside of Win ISD and kind of doing my own thing. I would just built both these to spec, and I think spec to spec, the Hi-Q sounds better. Now, what would be interesting if you guys would like me to do this, get me 200 likes on this video in 1 week by next Tuesday. If I have 200 likes, here's what I'll do. I will put the Sundown in the Hi-Q box and the Hi-Q into the Sundown box, and let's see where we end up. See if that changes my opinion. See if it's the enclosure or if it's just the drivers themselves. But like I said, right now they're in their recommended airspace, and if I'm going to choose, I'm going to choose the Hi-Q. And it's just, I think it's just a overall better value, better driver for the money. Now, with all that being said, the Sundown is a fantastic, the SA 6.5, it's a fantastic driver. It sounds very good. It plays loud, and it just got edged out by the Hi-Q, and the value is really what threw it over, and just the loudness of it, of the Hi-Q, kind of set it apart, and the ability to dig deep set it apart from the Sundown. I really love what Sundown's doing. I just reviewed the SD310, and I thought it's one of the best sounding drivers that nobody talks about as far as SQ. So I really like it. I think the SA series kind of sets the benchmark for every other sub out there, but in this case, I think they got bested by the Savard Hi-Q. And I know, people that are either on the Hi-Q side or the Savard side or the Sundown side might disagree. But just remember, I'm giving you my opinion. So if you value that, it is what it is. If you don't, then it's the same thing. So I appreciate all you guys watching. I hope you enjoyed this shootout. And remember, if you want to see me do the swap, put the Sundown in the Hi-Q box and the Hi-Q in the Sundown box, 200 likes in 1 week, and I will do that for you, and I'll have it up within a week or two. So if you guys want to do that, cool. If not, then we'll just leave it as is. As always, thank you each and every one of you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Shout out to all my Patreon supporters, but a special shout out goes to the $6 or more members: Alice McCullum, 2001 Monolithic, The Third Era, Gene Alva, Joaquin Juarez, Paul Smith, Rick Quattlebaum, William Berg, CT Sounds, Byron Chambliss, The Karate Guy, Jason Zemer, Travis McClendon, and Brandon Hanna. For as little as $2 a month, you can join the team and get exclusive Patreon-only content not available on YouTube. If you want to help me out with my goal of reaching one new patron a week, please check me out, patreon.com/HifiVega.
No, there ain't no stopping us. Fly without a boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Shooting stars. Didn't even get to cross. I said I'm moving too far.